Bom dia. I'm James Harbeck, and today I'm going to talk about the pronunciation of Brazilian Portuguese names. This is inspired by the silver medal winning performance of Rebeca Andrade of Brazil and the bronze medal performance of the entire Brazilian women's gymnastics team. So, just to start with, why is it Rebeca Andrade? Why not Rebeca Andrade? I mean, that's what it looks like, right? Yeah, so Portuguese, yeah. Portuguese is not pronounced like Spanish or really like any other language. And in fact, Portuguese isn't even pronounced like Portuguese. By which I mean that European Portuguese, as in from Portugal, is pronounced a little differently from Brazilian Portuguese. So, for instance, in Portuguese, as in Spanish, there's a distinction between the short, light R, which is written as a single R in the middle of a word, and the strong, long R, which is written as a double R in the middle of a word, or a single R at the beginning of a word. And in Spanish, that strong, long R is R. So you got the difference between perro and perro. But in Portuguese, well, in Portugal, it's generally, you'll hear it like R, depending on where you are. But in Brazil, it's moved all the way back into the throat and just become ha. So, Rebeca, it's not hey, hey, hey. It's really farther back, Rebeca. But, you know, you do what you can, right? We're just trying to get it more or less right here. You're cheering for the Olympics, right? Okay, so yay. The last name looks like it's Andrade until you know Portuguese. And then if you know Portuguese from Portugal, you think, oh, well, Andrade, right? Because the E becomes an at the end of a syllable, just end of a word, sorry, and just gets clipped short. But in Brazil, that E becomes E. It's still quite short as a general rule. And before it, D becomes J and T becomes Ch. So, for instance, you know, noite, night, instead of noite, which would be in Portugal. So, Andrade. You'll hear people say Andrade, and that's fine, you know, but Rebeca Andrade. Now, how about the rest of the women's gymnastics team? Jade Barbosa. See, Jade. Oh, yes, the J, by the way. Ja. It's not ha like in Spanish. It's not, yeah, it's ja. Jade Barbosa. Lorrane Oliveira. Got that? Lorrane. Flávia Saraiva, and Júlia Soares. Oh, that's a fun one. Soares, if you're in Portugal, or for that matter in Rio de Janeiro, that's Rio de Janeiro for people who speak English, they will say it Soares. The S becomes sh. This is a fairly well-known feature of Portuguese, but not in most of Brazil, where it just becomes z, like we would in English, Soares. So, Júlia Soares. Let's talk about just a couple of other Brazilian medal winners just to round out the pronunciation tip. In skateboarding, the bronze medalist is Rayssa Leal. L at the end of a syllable becomes O, so Rayssa Leal. And in the men's 20K race walk, Caio Bonfim. So the O at the end of a word is U. This is absolutely standard in Portuguese. You see it everywhere. The O is U. And N and M at the ends of syllables in any kind of Portuguese become a nasalization. So, Caio Bonfim. So, got all that? Let's go through all those again. Rebeca Andrade, Jade Barbosa, Lorrane Oliveira, Flávia Saraiva, Júlia Soares, Rayssa Leal e Caio Bonfim. Saúde!